author-to-be. I am writing my first novel ever. I've written short stories before, or I've tried to write full-length books and it never went very far. Literally first chapter, second chapter. That'd be as far as it would go. So I'm trying again. I am on my second draft of Project Valley. This is the mood board. I don't have a blurb for you yet, but I'll tell you this. It's between a fairy and an elf. It's a slow burn forbidden romance. And when I say fairy, I mean the ones with wings. Not the fae that we all love, but fairies. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my journey with draft 2. With draft 1, it took me about 9 months. I called it draft 0 because in the beginning it really was just a bunch of rambles and bullet points, and it didn't make any sense to anyone but me. But that was the whole point. I really just wanted it to be on the page and just keep going. And eventually I wrote some pretty decent things, but the beginning was a mess. I wrote over 130,000 words in the first draft, way too many, and I will account that to some chapters being double of each other, like they're twins. They changed slightly because I wanted to change something, or just entirely different, but I kept them both because I didn't know which one I wanted. Also, I just find myself overwriting most of the time. It's probably a good thing to do because I underwrote the beginning, and that is what I'm having to sledge through right now. So anyway, I took a mini break after finishing the first draft and I printed out my book. I had to print it out at the library because it was so big. It was over 500 pages, one-sided and double-spaced, because that's how Scrivener gave it to me. And that's fine because I wanted the backs of the pages to write notes, and I wanted space in between the lines to also write notes. So it was over 500 pages, and I only had to pay like $75 at my public library to print it all, which is great. I also think it cost a little bit more because I accidentally left in some photos that I put into the draft for inspiration, and that was a lot of ink. But it would have been like over $300 to print at Staples. Public libraries for the win, okay? Final version. I made a little cute title page on it, and even though it's the worst version of my book, I think this first draft printed copy will be a treasure to me of all my life. I literally had to show this to my family members who I told I was writing a book for them to understand what I was really doing, because I know they thought I was writing like a children's story, which is still very hard work, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot shorter. So I had to show that to them, and they were like, oh. It made me feel good. They thought, wow, because I should think, wow, and I'm just a little hard on myself sometimes. Anyway, after making an annotation key that I only really used in the beginning, I found that it would have taken me forever to mark every single thing that I made in the key, and I would have run out of tabs, which I did run out of tabs for the things I needed to fix. It took me about half a month, half of March, to get through my whole story. It could have taken me a lot less time. I just really tried to take my time and mark up everything I needed to mark up. The most important tabs, they're pink. Those are the ones for moments that I love. Then you've got the red and orange and gray. Those are the moments that I needed to fix or rewrite, completely rework, inconsistencies, big questions I had for myself that like I never answered, or even I mentioned something once and never again. A big issue in my world building in this book is I mentioned children in the world maybe 3 times. They weren't there. I never mentioned them except when it was convenient to me, so I marked those up. I ran out of the red and orange, which is why there's so many different color variations. I had to just use things that were close to those colors. Other big ones are the brown and the yellow tabs that I kept on the sides. Brown is Malachi's point of view and yellow is Nissa's. I was trying to see if there was a misbalance between their point of views, and there definitely is. I used Nissa more often than Malachi. There were tons of times where Malachi's perspective could have been better, just added more oomph, you know? After annotating, I took the rest of March to really just ruminate on everything that I learned and everything I was reading. I found and wrote down many plot points that I needed to fix or add or remove because I was all over the place. I then tried to resolve most of them in my notes. I couldn't do all of them. Some of them were open-ended until I figured out another portion, and I didn't want to wait to figure that out. I think I just needed to write to figure some things out. Sorry, that's an airplane. I also did a character reevaluation on Nissa because even though she's the main character, it just seemed like she existed solely to move the plot. She wasn't her own person. It was very strange. Sometimes I would find her really, really well in the writing, like she was there in full force. And other times, I think I fixed her personality, her motivations, her fears, etc. I think, but we will see. Sometimes I'm writing and the old her so desperately wants to come out on the page. It's just my fear that she'll be disliked, and I think that's really real, you know, and I think that's better than having a perfect character. She's not like a bad person, but I think she has some traits and some tendencies that aren't entirely attractive. You know, to finish out March, I then tried to do an outline like for the first act, chapter by chapter, so just 1 through 10, which helped me see how empty it really was before. Act 1, I think I said it in a previous video, I thought the beginning was super boring, and that's why I could never split this into 2 books, because there was just not enough content in the beginning, and that was my fault. There's plenty of content to have, and I just didn't write it in. To end March officially, I wrote a brand new prologue for the book. I needed to hook readers on the conflict before it was ever even really discussed, and the first version of my book with the prologue, it left questions that weren't satisfying to have hanging in the air, you know? But this one I think is a little spicier, like not like that. You should be wondering a lot of things, but you should also piece together one certain fact already straight from the beginning if you're a fantasy reader. If you're not, that's fine. You'll learn eventually, but I like giving little secrets to readers, and I never even realized that it needed to happen. I want to keep everything to myself, but I need you to know this because my characters don't know it, but if you know it, then the whole time you're gonna be screaming at them through the pages, and that's kind of what I want. The entire month of April was focused on rewriting the entire beginning of the book, and I mean the entire thing. I thought draft 2 would be more like editing, but it needed to be completely changed, and that's okay. It's for the better of the story. Like I said, I left a lot out. It wasn't readable. It was just my thoughts. It didn't really make sense, so I've done a lot of work. I reached over 10,000 words in April for draft 2. Even though it's not exactly what I want it to be, it's definitely closer to the version that I could show other people and not feel like it's not representative of the story. So unlike April, May was not really a focus month. It's when I lost my steam. The routines I had set for myself, my daily life, fell apart. Progress is progress, but I sure wrote a lot less than I wanted to. So draft 2 is obviously not going to get done exactly when I wanted it to, but we learned from the first draft that that's okay, you know, it'll get done when it gets done. But life took the reins on May. Despite not writing a lot, I reached 20,000 words. So I managed to write a good portion, but it certainly didn't feel like it. It was scattered, my writing days. Which brings us to today, June 3rd, 2025. Hi, it's Late Night Miranda. I am doing a voiceover because I didn't quite finish my thoughts in that video. So it's gonna sound a little like ASMR and or smooth jazz.
Alright, we're staring right now at the Project Valley Pinterest board. I've just sort of scrolled down to a section where you can't quite have spoilers, but it's the vibes because I feel like it's very pretty to look at while I'm talking. June, that was the subject I left off on. We are currently in June and it just began, so I don't have much of an update, but I have started to film more video diary things to put in another video for this month. Basically for June, I'm doing what I can. It's a very busy month life-wise. I've got vacations, I've got lots of family members I'm going to see, lots of things we're going to do, and I also have a self-imposed deadline of finishing Act 1 by that vacation with my family, because I want my mom, my sister-in-laws, and my husband to sort of read the beginning and just tell me, I know it's not perfect, I know it's not the final version, but what their thoughts are, what they think I need to fix already, any technical information that I need to know, etc. Because I've been looking at this by myself for so long that I think I need some fresh eyes. So I don't really know what the rest of June is going to look like or how much footage I'm going to get of me writing. And I don't know if you know this, but I am just filming these videos for me. Frankly, they're just to document my experience, for me to look back on and to know what I've done. And another secondary benefit is you guys possibly wanting to read my book. That would be awesome. So the production quality is not that high, you'll probably notice. I am doing the best I can with editing, but I'm using CapCut free version, so it is just gonna look the way that it's gonna look, and I hope you don't mind that sometimes it's blurry, or I'm out of focus, or the lighting is weird. I'm trying my best, but I'm not going to focus on that as more than focusing on writing. Now you're probably looking at this board and you're thinking, when is she gonna tell me the blurb? She said it would be at the end of the video. Well, I'm about to do that, don't you worry. This is on my website. This is sort of a temporary version, but it is the best version it's going to be for now, and I decided I'd put the temporary blurb here as well. So if anyone comes to my website, they sort of get an idea, and you finally have an idea of the plot. Here we go. Nissa Begonia has been unsuccessfully chasing her gift her whole life. It's only when creatures show up to her village with severe wounds does Nissa experience her magic coming alive. To help them, she becomes indebted to a witch who will take her wings if Nissa is unable to make payment. With her savings stolen by a raven and no respectable business willing to hire a giftless fairy, her only option is to find a sponsor at the biggest social event of the year, the Winter Solstice Ball. Begrudgingly, Lord Malachi Savannah attends the ball as an escort and expects nothing more than a headache. He could not have predicted making an acquaintance with a fairy, much less the perfect fit for the herbalist position he's had trouble filling. After sneaking Miss Begonia into Elven country, he soon realizes that she may be the solution to all his people's misfortunes. Now, before we move on, you notice I did not mention romance at all in this temporary blurb. That is something I need to work on, I need to add. I think I know where I can add those sections, but yeah, you wouldn't know from this that it's a romance, but it is. This is also just scratching the surface of the plot, to be honest. There's a lot here that is unsaid, and I know and you don't. It's sort of a trick to give you only little bits that'll make you turn the page and start reading, but not tell you any important information that actually pertains. I noticed that books that are in bookstores do a really good job at doing that. They only tell you the beginning and just a vague description where you don't have to know any of the lore, and it's kind of really hard to do it when I know all of the lore. But here you go. This is the temporary blurb. It's on my website if you want to look at it again, mirandaktaylor.com. If you're interested, I have a newsletter that I haven't started yet. It's just me writing letters to you about what I'm doing, how I'm feeling, and it also will give you guys a chance, if you want, whenever I need beta readers, to be informed first before a video would go up about that and any other cool things that I come up with. It also would be where you would learn all the stuff about if my book can officially come out. That's where it will be told first before anywhere else. That is the blurb. That's the video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night, and thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, I guess like it. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. That'd be great. See you guys around. Bye-bye.